Hey, happy Saturday. Welcome to stream. How's everyone doing? Yeah, welcome to stream. Happy Saturday. Thanks for being here today. Yes, I don't have my hat on, but my hair was, I don't know. It's kind of, I don't know. Long story. Anyways, I just pulled it back. So I'm sure someone's going to say something about it. But happy Saturday. Welcome to stream. What's everybody up to? Man, this week has been a crazy week for me. I'm sure it has been for a lot of people in general in a lot of different ways. So, first of all, I'll start with the weather. The weather across the United States has been crazy, especially down in the Southeast. I know any of you that are down there can attest to that. I can't, because up here in Minnesota, we've had fantastic weather. Weather up here has been 60s, maybe 70 today, and hit 72. Getting a little warm for me. I started getting used to 50s and 60s, and today it got a little bit warm for me, and it did last night too. I was like, "Oh, are the windows open? They are open. Why does it feel so warm in here?" So anyways, yeah, for those in the Southeast, hopefully everything's okay. Hey, thank you so much, Tikari of ET. Thanks for the tier 1 sub. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'll definitely get into all the subs and follows here in a second, but to anyone in the Southeast, Florida, anywhere along there, because a lot of the shoreline is getting flooded. I hope you guys are okay. Hope you're safe, and hopefully, yeah, that's about all I can say. Hope you're okay. Hope you're safe, and thoughts go out to you. Hey, all right, we'll call him out now. Hey, dude, Alpha Computer 1776. Ooh, man, we're getting all kinds of actions right now. Thank you so much for the tier 1 sub, 6 months. Thank you so much. And then with 200 bits a cheer. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Next, HR, thanks for the Prime sub. Thank you so much for spending your Prime sub on me. I'm going to rewind a little bit then. Ilude, how's it going? Did I say Takari? Yeah, I did. Ilude, resub, tier 1, 25 months. Man, over a year and a month, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate all you do. Not only for the continued support, but in our Discord, here in the channel, everywhere. So thanks, man. Hope you're doing okay. Cyber Knight, resub, tier 3, 9 months. Dude. 9 months. Thank you so much, Cyber Knight. Appreciate it. Thank you. Any Blast has resub Prime 15 months. Thank you so much. 15 months, year and 3 months. That's a long time. That's a long time. And I'm going to keep going back down. So Ratcher 007, Zamir, and let me see, Maxter Boomer and Bricktown. We'll go back that far. Thank you guys for the follow. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Welcome to the channel. So as I was saying, weather here has been great in Minnesota. I'm sorry. It's been fantastic. It's been like 50s and 60s. It's been getting down to like upper 40s at night, which is kind of chilly, but I don't mind it because it cools off the whole house. And then we kind of start all over with a little warm up, and I like that. I like the deep cool off. Not freezing, but deep cool off, and then kind of warm back up with the sun throughout the day. It's super nice, super nice. Been a little windy, but can't complain. Can't complain. So what are you guys working on? Let me know. Throw it in the chat. Let's talk about it. This is the one time a week where I get to talk out loud, not just in my head and not virtually through chat, with all of you, and see what you guys are working on, and see if, hey, Mayrink, resub, tier 1, 9 months, 9 month streak. Thank you so much. Hey, finally able to watch you live again. 9 months hype, by the way. Whoop, whoop. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Man, my TV is even going crazy back there too. So that's something else I've been working on. I'll get into that here in a second. But thank you so much, Mayrink. Thanks for the continued support. I appreciate it. So as I was saying, yeah, I've been, as you all have been, I've been busy too. But whatever you're working on, if you're working on something that's frustrating, fun, all tech related, or something you just want to share, something you have accomplished throughout the week, throw it in the chat. Let's talk about it. And me, so I'll talk about what I'm working on, just so it doesn't kind of bleed out throughout the whole entire stream. As you saw this morning, I was working on an encryption video. This video took me a little bit longer than it probably should. There's some stuff in the way, a lot of home projects, but kind of a complex topic for me to kind of figure out and create a ton of examples for. And then I wanted to make sure that the video was accurate and edited well. I spent a little bit more time editing on it than I normally do, because I was like, every time I get past the threshold of Saturday, I'm like, well, I usually release on Saturdays. Do I do midweek or not? And so anyways, Anyways, so yeah, I've been working on SOPS, which is secret operations, not to be confused with SecOps, which is security operations. But SOPS operations or secret operations is something that it's this whole operationalizing of keeping your secrets safe or hiding them in plain sight with encryption. And it's it's something that I've been doing for a while with my Kubernetes cluster and with K3s and with Flux. But I realized after I was doing it, I was like, this can be applied anywhere. This can be applied anywhere. This can be applied to plain old YAML files, whether they're in Kubernetes or not, to Docker Compose files if you want to manage your secret that way, .env files if you want to manage your environment variables for Docker or even for code. If you want to manage it that way and commit it to your repo, you totally could with SOPS and AGE. So it's really cool, and it works for JSON. It works for everything. I've encrypted plain SQL files because I've done user creation and I stored passwords in the SQL. Shouldn't do it, but I did it as a test and encrypted the whole file. And I'm like, this is great. This is great. So now with user creation and password, I mean, I don't recommend doing that for SQL. You should probably do it a different way and keep that somewhere else. But hey, if you can encrypt it or you have to store it somewhere, probably take the passwords out. But if they get in there, just encrypt it before you do. So anyways, it's super cool. It can be used for so many different things. It doesn't even have to be with Git too, and it doesn't have to be with Kubernetes. It doesn't have to be with Flux. It can just be used for a partial file or file content encryption, which is really awesome. Usually with encryption in the past, what I've done is just encrypt a whole file. It's totally opaque. You don't know what it is. You don't know what's inside. You might know the file name. You have no clue. But the cool thing is with SOPS is it can extract pieces of that file and encrypt things in place, which is awesome because then you have context. Say if you're using Docker Compose and you have all of your environment variables and everything in there, and you want to be able to see them and read them, but you have one secret in there and you just want to encrypt that one secret for that one environment variable, you totally can. And it's so cool. It's so cool. So I'm a huge fan, and I'll admit, I've said this before, and I said it in the video. I'll admit, I'll be the first one to admit, say, I've encrypted secrets to private Git repos. I've done it because I didn't know that there was a better way of doing it, and I always thought, like, well, it's private. The only thing I have to worry about is my laptop getting stolen, and my disk not being encrypted, which it is, someone compromising my system remotely. Or Git itself getting compromised, whether it's GitLab, GitHub, whoever. And so I thought it was a pretty low risk. But also that's kind of how I justified pretty low risk. But now I'm at the point where I understand the tooling. I know how to do it. It's easy. And so I'm like, why not? The path of least resistance for me has always been to just, commit secrets to a private Git repo because only I have access to them. But, the more I do this, the more I realize that, hey, there are tools out there to help me. And so that's what I've been trying to break down over the last couple of weeks and get it out to you today. So anyways, that's what I've been working on. I've been doing it for months now, but it was finally time to take a step back and say, how can I make this more general for more people to be able to use it? So that's what I've been working on. A whole lot of secret encryption stuff, and it's super fun. It's super fun. Once you do it, you'll get so excited, and you'll just say, I'm gonna do this for everything. I'm gonna do this for everything. All my ENV files, it's kind of weird because you're kind of unwinding, some of the practices that people tell you not to do. Oh, add your .env file to your git ignore. Never commit your .env file. That's like ingrained in my head. Like you never want to commit that. And the same thing with secrets. When I create a Kubernetes secret, I usually do it from the CLI because I don't want to create the manifest, because if I create the manifest, I might accidentally commit it to my repo. But now that I can encrypt it, I can kind of feel pretty good about just doing it like that and kind of undo these things we've learned. Not saying it's, it's still better not to encrypt your secrets and put them in your Git repo. But the encryption is so strong, it's more than good enough. So anyways, let me know what you've been working on. That's what I've been working on in a nutshell, more than a nutshell. That's like beyond the nutshell, whatever the super class of a nutshell is. That's what that just was. So let's get into chat. Let's see who is here first. And again, if you have a question or want to share something, throw it in chat. Let's talk about it. I'm going to start top to bottom. So I'm going to answer who's here first. I know who was here first because I saw it when I was getting set up. But I can't select it there yet. But first in chat today was Ilud. Ilud, he was first. How's it going, Ilud? Good to see you, man. Hopefully everything is going well. Grog Malblood, are you sure about that one? Yeah. Ilud, no, but you got to start somewhere. Yeah, you do. And it's funny. A lot of people, say first, and they don't know if they're first or not until someone says, no, you're not. So you got to say it. I think Ilud has special mod powers though, so he can actually see history, but other people can't. So you just got to claim first until someone denies it. Yeah, and a lot of people do that on YouTube still. They'll still say first, which is totally fine. But some people will say first like 3 months later. I'm like, I know they're just trying to be funny, which I'm all for. I'm all for a good laugh. Okay, now I can get into chat. So let's see. Apashar, Roger. All right, Roger. How's it going? Good to see you. Ilud, F5 by 5. F5 by 5. I don't know what's going on there. I was like, is this an emoji I don't know about? Binary Nexus, yo, how's it going? How are you? Mafney, how's it going? Good to see you. How are you doing? Introverted Mouse, good to see you. How are you? Hope you're good. Yeah, I am good. It's always a good Saturday when I get a video out. If it's a Saturday where I don't get a video out, I feel super guilty during this stream. That's usually how it goes. But I'm always thinking about the next one. So, but yeah, thank you so much, Apashar. I was never coordinated enough to do the whole yo-yo tricks. It always went up and down. It always went down, but never back up. I've kind of been okay at the yo-yo tricks. Is there a pun in there somewhere? Yeah, I think so. I've been okay. I remember I had a yo-yo for a while when we were kids, and I did okay. My brothers are a little bit better, but I could do the walk the dog, and that's about it. But I thought the walk the dog was awesome. Or I could do the like whip it in the air and get it to yo-yo back. I don't know. Pie of a miniature stature. How goes your day? Dang, man. Can't wait to get my own little ubiquity set up like that. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And I think that video has a mix of my old and new. Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. I've been slowly upgrading over time. Well, at first I was acquiring things, and then I've already upgraded a couple pieces. So it's pretty awesome. I love it. I'm a huge fan. Everyone knows that I am. Binary Nexus, I miss my trick yo-yo I had a while back. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I had a butterfly one. I think it was a butterfly. I don't know if that was the brand or the style, but it had like the wings on it, and it was pretty awesome. And then like there were light up ones and all this crazy stuff, but I just enjoyed just a normal one, just because I could, once you loosened up that string and that knot had a little slack on it, then you could totally like walk the dog all the time, just whip it really hard. It was pretty fun. I need to get one just to do, like, keep at my desk when I'm thinking, because it's nice. It's nice. Quantum Penguin, how's it going? Good afternoon, Owl. Good afternoon, Owl. How are you doing? Good to see you. So, Binary Nexus, you are working on SOPS and Flux. That's awesome. That is awesome. I know in Discord you asked for this one a couple of times, and I was always like, yeah, in the future. And I knew it was coming. I just didn't know when it was coming. I kind of have to rotate stuff a little bit in here and there. It's got to be a little bit of hardware, a little bit of services, a little bit of Kubernetes, and now it's back to today was kind of sort of part of Kubernetes, but more of secret encryption and stuff like that. So awesome, man. If you're doing it on Flux, it's actually even easier once you get it going, because you don't even need to decrypt these on the fly and push them up. You actually push up the encrypted version. So if you're using Flux, it's GitOps. You commit the secret encrypted and you push it up, and then Flux will actually use Age and decrypt it on the fly and apply it to Kubernetes. So it's pretty awesome. There's even less to do once you get it working. The challenge will be just updating them. But you saw in VS Code how easy it is with that extension. It's super awesome. I'm a huge fan. And I learned during this video that I had a misconfiguration for a long time. And as I was going through the materials and setting up all of my demos, I was like, oh, this works way better than how I have this set up now. I didn't have my environment variable set up right, and so I could automatically decrypt but not automatically encrypt. And so this whole time I've been doing like the jankiest thing ever, and and through setting this up and creating this video, I learned that I had a misconfiguration. So that was a little nugget for me. Little nugget for me that I was super happy about. Lude, yeah. Emotes. Let me grab a drink. Sorry. Okay. Might need another one here in a second. Pi. I'm just going to go with Pi. Working on Linux system / Docker, trying to create a web interface that stores multiple applications and links to various resources. Yeah, that sounds awesome. So working on Linux on top of their Docker, and you're trying to create a web interface or a web page that has multiple app links and various resources. That sounds awesome. That sounds awesome. Sounds like a good little project, basically full stack project, going from OS to containerizing to writing a little bit of code, putting it inside there, and then some hosting. Yeah, it sounds like a good Saturday project for sure. I didn't even click on it, but there it is. Grog Malblood, hey Techno Tim, I've got my host re-imaged, reconfigured, re-rack, and I've stood up my new production and dev Docker nodes. Nice. Currently labbing out my first foray into Terraform and learning how to manage infrastructure as code. Awesome. Yeah, awesome. Once you kind of make that switch, you'll realize how much easier it is to do it that way. And for a couple of reasons. One, it's easier to manage. Two, it's easier to rebuild or tear down. And then you'll realize how many manual things you did in the past. I used to SSH into this machine, and then I would, change this Docker compose file or whatever, change this YAML file, and then I'd have to run this command, and then I would have to force, pulling down of these Docker images. Once you move to infrastructure as code or automate any of your processes, it's then you start to realize hey, even in these things I thought were highly automated, they were still really high touch. So you wanna have low touch solutions, or at least you get that if you start doing infrastructure as code. So yeah, awesome. Sounds awesome. I need to do some Terraform. I need to. It's been in my backlog for a while. I think I will soon, for sure, because I want to do something. I want to try something a little crazy. I mean, maybe not crazy for you guys. You guys know this stuff, but crazy for me is doing something I haven't done before, times 1,000. Aprashar, trying to learn how to do SQL select statements on 80 million records tables and a where clause causing values stored in the table as it is dynamic. That does not sound fun to me. That does not sound fun to me. I mean, maybe it does sound fun. The challenge of actually doing it. I'm nothing against SQL or writing queries. I can do it. It's pretty low on my things I like to do. And it's nothing against it. I'm just not good at it. I should say it then. It's not my wheelhouse. I will do it. I do it for work. I do it for other things. I write simple select statements all the time, but my SQL is terrible. So I hope you figure it out. So yeah, 80 million records, and using a where clause, using values that are stored in the table, and it is dynamic. Well, good luck with that. Good luck with that for sure. Indirect, what's up? Hey, not much here. Binary Nexus, Hurricane Ian crossed over us last night. Well, I'm glad you're here to tell about it. I'm glad you're here to tell about it. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It was pretty wild. Watching some of the videos on Twitter and seeing some of the photos everywhere. I was just like, whoa, man. Ooh, hope everyone's okay. Mier Lome. I'm gonna pronounce it like that. Hopefully that's how you pronounce it. Raining in Germany too. All right, I'll take it. I don't mind rain. We need rain here. It's been cool and dry, but very dry. But I'll take rain. I like it. Zoe25. Really wish TrueNAS let you use straight Docker instead of this hybrid K3S system they have going on. Trying to figure out the best way around that. Oh, around that? Or do you mean circumventing it? Or just figuring out how it works? Yeah, it's interesting. I'll say that. It's interesting. I get it. I get why they're doing it, because maybe someday they'll let you scale your cluster across multiple scale nodes, but not there yet. It's interesting because they say they support Docker and Kubernetes, but really I think they're just using K3S, and then they're using the Docker CRI, the container runtime, which isn't going to be there forever. It's taken out in 1.2, I don't remember. 125-ish. I don't remember which version of Kubernetes it's taken out, but it's already been taken out of a lot of versions of Kubernetes so far. So yeah, it is interesting. It is interesting, and it's you gotta get your head wrapped around either Helm and how they do load balancers. But there's True Charts, which might be able to help with some of that. Even if you don't use True Charts, they have a lot of documentation on how those work. That might be helpful. But yeah, it is interesting for sure. I think it's a good move, but it's a complicated one. I think it's a good move, but it's a complicated one, especially if you use the Docker, for sure. Because you have to either use the node IP and node ports, or use a load balancer, and that's where it gets kind of crazy. Round Becker. Hey, Techno Tim. Good to see you're still doing good. Yeah, I'm trying to do good. I'm trying to be good and do good. But hey, thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. Grog Malblood. I highly recommend you look at Wendell from Level 1 Text write-up on using Debian VM in TrueNAS scale and then running Docker inside of VM. There you go. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, so then you won't run your containers bare metal. You'll do what I do and all my stuff. Virtualize it. And then run Docker in there, right? And then you have an IP address, and then it actually opens up a lot of possibilities, more so than you might have otherwise. Because if you run a virtual machine and you have an IP address from your DHCP on that segment or that network, you can do anything with it. You can port forward to it. You don't have to worry about conflicting ports with TrueNAS, and then you just treat it like a physical machine, but it's virtualized. Yeah, absolutely. That is definitely a good workaround. I mean, that's how I run all of my Kubernetes nodes. I don't run any of my Kubernetes or Docker services bare metal on top of the hypervisor that I'm running, or in this case, an AS. I don't run anything extra on there. I virtualize it, and then from there, I expose it from there, because then it's a little more portable too, and I don't have to worry about port conflicts, and I don't have to worry, if I ever want to rebuild my, whatever the host is, whether it be Proxmox, TrueNAS, whatever, I don't have to worry about the 15 million, one-offs I did to make it work. So, yeah, good call out there. I like it. Cyber Knight, been away for several months, moved, and finally got a proper server room and rack. Oh, yeah. But lots of house yard work. Happy to have time to be here again. Yeah, thanks for being here. I hear you, but that's awesome. That is awesome. Server room, so a dedicated server room and a rack, but lots of chores and housework. I get it, but that's awesome. And the nice thing about having, a server room or server rack or just, this technology is it can sit there until, you're ready for it or it's ready for you. So awesome. That is so awesome. Round. I gotta get this one right. I'm going with Road. Round. Working on centralized Helm charts. Awesome. So centralized Helm charts. Cool. So you're creating your own Helm charts and then you're gonna install them that way. Awesome. I've never done it. I've consumed many of Helm charts, and I've written plenty of Kubernetes deployments and services and ingress. And I just kind of keep them myself. I've never bundled them up with Helm. Maybe I should sometime. It sounds awesome. Binary Nexus, thanks for the video today. I was so excited when I saw it pop up in the notification. Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. I remember you mentioning it in Discord a while back, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. Glad you like it. Hopefully there's something there for everyone. I don't mean to say it's not, like I said earlier, it's not just for Kubernetes. It's not just for Docker. It's not even just for code. It's not even just for Git. It's just an easy way to encrypt values within a file if you want, So I think it's pretty awesome. I'm never going back to, unencrypted secrets anywhere because I know how to do it now. And that's, hey, Salvarius, how's it going? Salvarius, resub, tier 1, 16 months. Thank you. But yeah, I'm never going back to not encrypting them now that I know how. And like I, kind of hinted at or mentioned earlier, a lot of that had to do with just me not knowing how to do it. And so now that I know how to do it and I have a pattern in place, I'm just going to rinse and repeat until it doesn't make sense anymore, which could be a while. Well, I hope it's a while. I hope this encryption and AGE and Mozilla SOPS keeps taking off, and people just continue to use it. So I'm super pumped for it. I love it. I love it. I'm trying to get it at work too. I'm like, let's encrypt our secrets. Come on. I'm getting there. Rather than keep them somewhere and partially in a password manager and all this stuff. But trying to get it at work. If I get it at work, that's how I know it's a success. But and I think everyone's open to it. We just haven't had the time to prioritize it because we have a way to keep them out of our code. We don't keep them in code now. Not to say we put secrets in code. We just don't put them there at all. But now I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, we can do it this way, and then we never have to worry about where it really is or where our secrets are. And then this is the Trojan horse into GitOps, because then I'll say, oh, our secrets are in code now, and we should put everything else we do in a Git repo. But let's start deploying it that way too. They're gonna kill me. Zoid25, yeah, good call. My problem is I only have 4 cores total, so I don't know if 2 cores will be enough for Docker and 2 for ZFS. I think it will. I don't think you're going to use that much more than you would otherwise, right? Linux at rest is really efficient. It doesn't do much. Linux at rest, if you look at the hard drive or resources or compute or man, it will chew up as much RAM as it'll allocate a lot of RAM. Doesn't mean it's using it all. But Linux at rest is restful. I don't know how else to say it. Windows at rest just decides it's going to do everything under the sun. As soon as you take your hands off the machine for about 5 minutes, it's like, okay, going to do search indexing, going to go do this, going to do this, going to optimize this, going to go crazy. And Linux isn't like that. So anyways, long story short, I don't think virtualizing it, you're going to use like much more resources as far as compute than you would otherwise. I mean, maybe a little bit of RAM, maybe a tiny bit of CPU, but virtualizing in general, I mean, we're talking low single-digit % overhead for virtualizing something. And so if those services inside of your Ubuntu or Debian VM aren't doing anything, you're not going to use any more than you would otherwise. And plus, you can totally over-allocate too. I give almost every one of my machines either 4, 8, or 16 cores. And I only have a total of 24 virtual cores on my server, but I have 15 to 20 VMs per server. I over allocate. Is it the best thing to do? I don't know, but I do. I always over provision or over allocate them because I'm like, you know what? If you're going to use 8 cores or want 8 cores at some point, use them. Otherwise, you're not doing much. It's fine. But then you have the problem with noisy neighbors. What happens if, 4 machines all at once want to peg all 8 cores? Well, you're going to have some problems though. But most times it's pretty fine. It's pretty fine. Good enough for home. Marink, I'm really hyped over using Proxmox now. Nice. I've installed it on my new Gen 9 and will go on the Gen 8 as well. Awesome. I'm a huge fan of Proxmox too, in case you didn't realize. But I think it's great. That's about all I could say. I think it's awesome. It's been super stable. I couldn't have asked for a better open source hypervisor right now. It does everything I want and more. Admittedly, I don't use LXC as much as I probably should. So to me, the LXC is like give or take. But for those who use it, love it, and so I'm glad it's there. But yeah, I think it's a great hypervisor. It's served me really well. I have 3 servers all running it, 2 on 1U servers, 1 on my Intel NUC back there, and it's flawless. I mean, if my services ever go down, 1, it's because of me, because I've done something, or 2, it's because Unified patched something and something went crazy, or 3, it's something in Kubernetes that I really didn't plan for, and a million things are kicking off all at once, and I didn't do my resource planning, so things are getting kicked out. But never since version 6 and now into 7 have I ever had to worry about, oh, it's my hypervisor. Oh, it's my Proxmox machine that's the problem. I haven't had to worry about it at all. It's been great. it's really a good foundation for all of my stuff, and it's the thing I never even have to worry about. Never have to worry about. Even patching now, I don't even worry about it. I just know it's gonna work, and that's good. Shifty1. I am working on exposing self-hosted services with traffic. All right. Rewatching your videos for help. All right. You're probably going to watch them a couple times because that's tough. And it is tough. But I think a few people have said in the comments, hey, just take it slow. Look at all of your YAML. Make sure it matches exactly. Look at the documentation on my site and compare it. And even those files have been fixed over time by people opening up PRs. So just take it easy. Take it easy. And copy and paste, copy and paste as much as you can. But then after you copy and paste, be sure to update it with your values. But awesome. Hopefully you get it out. I assume since you're doing traffic, you're going to have certificates and get it all hosted securely. And then maybe throw Cloudflare in front or some other reverse proxy publicly to help ward off the bad guys. Vronsky. Have you set up an HA cluster with Proxmox? If so, how has your experience been with it? I'm thinking of building one with a friend across 2 different geolocations. I like where this is going. So have I set up an HA cluster with Proxmox? I have, only in my true lab in a dev environment. But that's not to say my Proxmox servers aren't clustered. So a couple of things. Like one, I would have set up my Proxmox cluster in HA mode if I could. The reason why I couldn't is because I have one different system. So I have 2 systems that are both 1U servers. Their specs match exactly. And I have ZFS on there and everything, and that would be great. But my third machine is not. It's an Intel NUC, and I don't have the same size ZFS pool. I don't even have a ZFS pool on there that matches. Long story short, if you go down the HA route, you got to have a ZFS pool on all of them that match, because that's how it does snapshots and moving and auto migration and all of that stuff. So I don't. I just use it as a cluster, so I can move stuff around. I can't move it around automatically. I can't do failover, but I can move stuff around. I can back stuff up. I can use one console to access them all. So I haven't done true HA with Proxmox outside of just lab environment testing. Like, how does this work? How do I join a cluster? How does it work? How does failover work? How fast does the failover? That kind of stuff. But never, I've never run one in my home production. I just have them clustered. I've heard stuff like, hey, if one machine goes down, depending on how many machines you have in this cluster, you might not be able to access that VM and just feedback I've heard over time of people, one, they like it, and 2, there's quorum, could be quorum issues. And the other thing is just if you start to have high availability VMs, you're going to need an ultra fast network, at least if you want your failover to be relatively fast. But other than that, I think it's awesome. And doing it cross geo sounds pretty cool. Sounds pretty cool for sure. I'm wondering where that load balancer is going to be, or I guess in Proxmox you can access any one of the hosts, like I do, and it will serve out all nodes in the cluster. So it's pretty cool. You'll have to let me know how that goes. I'm wondering about if you'll run into any challenges. With syncing ZFS over the internet. Should be fine, but I'm just curious. Sounds fun. Sounds like a nice weekend or multi-weekend project. Let's see. Pi. Hey, Tim. Hope you're doing well. I have a question. I hope you don't mind answering. Uh-oh. I'm working on a few things, but one I find difficult is network automation, Ansible, Python. What do you recommend to be the best thing to learn at first? Network automation with Ansible and Python. I haven't done a ton of network per se automation. A lot of my networking in the past has been, remote into, shell into the Cisco server, make some commands, apply them, and then maybe write a batch to do that 15,000 times. Or spin stuff in the UI, because in the UI, it's super easy. Even here at home, I have Unify. I do everything in the UI. But if you're gonna do true network automation, you might want to look at Terraform and see if there's a provider to do some of this, or Ansible. I'm sure they have playbooks to do some of this. The bonus if you go with, and you mentioned just doing it in plain Python, which would surely work. But I think the benefit of doing any one of those is that you'll learn so much more than network automation. If you're already doing some Terraform or thinking about it, doing infrastructure as code, IAC, Terraform's great for that. And you would learn a lot more than just, how to do network automation. You would also pick up how to do infrastructure as code with Terraform, which is cool. And if you're going to do it, with Ansible, which is, I think of it in my head as more like config management or state management or desired state type of stuff, that works too. And it works across the board with a lot of different systems. And that's kind of how I segment them up in my head is, Terraform's going to bootstrap a lot of your infrastructure, build it up, tear it down. And then, Ansible can take over from there and do, some of your config management or config drift stuff or, desired state type of stuff. So, I think they're all good to learn. I don't think you can go wrong. Ansible's super popular. It's getting used, and so is Terraform. I don't know. And Python, scripting language, that's always good to pick up because it's used for everything. It's like the most popular language in the world. So that's tough. I don't have a great answer for it. I would say you can't go wrong choosing any of those. But I would lean into it and get help from, hey, Cyberknight, thanks for the bits, 100 bits, thank you so much. And our Kenyo, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. And Marfinho, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Sorry if I missed any. It's getting too deep into that. Talking too much tech, not possible. But yeah. So what I was saying is lean into those too. Don't think because you're going to use Ansible, you're going to write every shell script yourself. No, look for playbooks in the Ansible galaxy. Lean into things that people have already done that you can do. Because at the end of the day, your job isn't going to be write the whole entire playbook. It's to configure a network, device automatically, remotely, repeatedly, and make it repeatable. So lean into those, look at the Ansible Galaxy for stuff, look at Terraform providers, see if they do anything like you want to do, and then just pick one. Say, okay, I'm going to give this one a shot. I would go that route. I have a bias towards, towards action or doing stuff. So I'm going to find the thing that allows me to do what I want to do the quickest and see if it works. And then just branch out from there. It sounds fun. Round, yeah, have you checked out Traffic Hub? Oh, that's a good question. I have, but that was direct Shifty. Hubert's, SOPS has great integration with Terraform. Nice. Considering the simplicity of its usage can now be combined with any tech. I like it. Yeah, I like it. I did not know that. I know they, on the encryption side with SOPS, you can choose encryption providers like HashiCorp Vault, which sounds super interesting too. But I didn't know about integration with Terraform. So they have a provider. I'm trying to think how would you do that, or how would you apply that? Would that be, yeah, I'd have to look into it, but it sounds interesting. And I love it when, some techs have, a tech has a provider or a way to integrate with other tech that I already use. It sounds awesome. Thanks for the tip. I'm going to look into that. Thanks for sending me down another rabbit hole today. Mayrink, I was watching your video and it really reminded me of a security breach that a company I know suffered due to their infra DevOps put a storage account credentials on public Git without encryption and caused a major issue. Yeah, I bet that would cause a major issue. I bet it would. Yeah, so I didn't talk about this. So one, that's unfortunate. Two, I would hope that they were at least using some type of encryption but forgot to turn it on. That's probably not the case because it can happen to you really easily, as it's happened to me before. I've accidentally committed but not pushed secrets before. Or I have pushed them to private and I rewind Git and I force push on top of it. Not great. It's happened to me. So there are ways to combat that too. So I didn't bring this up because I didn't want to turn a 20-minute video into a 30-minute video, but there are things like commit hooks that you can run to actually analyze your code to look for secrets before you push them up. And so I have it on my local machine, and maybe I'll do a video someday or something short on it because I don't know if it warrants a whole entire video. But using a pre-commit hook to look at your YAML to analyze, or any file, to analyze it for secrets before you actually commit is great. Because if you accidentally commit a secret, it will analyze right before the commit. So a commit hook, a pre-commit hook. Right before the commit runs, it runs a hook, which is just execute some code. That will look at all of your YAML. It'll analyze it, and it'll do some regex to figure out, hey, are there secrets in here? If it finds a secret, it will abort and not even commit. So then you can't even push it up. So it's pretty awesome. If you're interested, I can post it in Discord. But it's pretty awesome. I got it running, and it's fantastic. I didn't use it for like 3 months, and I was just like so worried I was accidentally going to undo everything I've been doing, which is encrypting secrets. And all it takes is one time for you to not encrypt that secret before you push it to undo all the hard work you've done. So using a pre-commit hook for SOPS or for secrets specifically is awesome. Is awesome because then you have to worry less. I mean, obviously you'll want to look at the code you push up before you push it or even before you commit it. But having those guardrails in place helps you be more aware of what's going on, or more vigilant, I guess I should say, because you got processes in place to knock you over the head if something goes wrong. But yeah, awesome. Yeah, I could see that how that could be a problem. Luska, the Great, hi, how's it going? Call me Vias. How's it going? Good to see you. Dr. Cuddle, back. How's it going, Dr. Cuddle? Dr. Cuddle. Working on migrating almost all of my Google services to self-hosted equivalents. Nice. Mail is hard to solve, though. Yeah, a long-term goal is to be as free as possible from big tech. I like it. I like it. That's it's a valiant effort, and it's a lot. And I think where people then have the hard time like making the full switch is going to be, you hit the nail on the head. It's going to be mail. It's going to be mail. It's going to be the last thing that people switch over, but it's tough. It's tough. So awesome. You'll have to let me know how your journey goes. Let me know somewhere here, Twitter, Discord, because I'm curious what mail server you choose and what challenges you run into. Round. I tried Bitnami sealed secrets for Kubernetes last month. Seemed to work nice. Also felt skeptic at the start committing to Git. Yeah. So real quick, Scandix. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. So sealed secrets, another one that is popular out there. Yeah, I've seen sealed secrets, and I considered doing sealed secrets at first, and that's specific to Kubernetes. But when I saw Mozilla SOPS had this thing out that worked everywhere, I was kind of like, I'm going to do that because that's kind of portable. But yeah, I mean, it's great. It's not a lesser, it's not a lesser solution. It's just a different solution. So it's pretty awesome. Yeah, I'm still kind of kept skeptical before I commit stuff and push it up, but. There's so much. I mean, if you look at a file after you encrypt it, there's so much jargon. It's like, okay, unless someone has my public key, there's no way anyone can do it. Even brute force would take, 100 years or something like that. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. I'm a fan. I'm a fan for sure. Indirect telex. From my point of view, your last video is great, but I only wish I am at the same level as you are. I still need to get started on GitHub, LOL. Yeah, it's tough. So one, I'm glad you watched it. I'm glad you liked it. I do apologize. Don't think that this is like some, kind of race, and that like you have to be where I'm at and doing what I'm doing to be able to enjoy stuff like you had mentioned. Just know it's there. Just knowing it's there, and when you get to that point, I think just knowing it's there is half the battle. Because you might get to a point where you're going to say, you know what, I'm going to do Docker now with Compose, and I have this .env file, and I don't want to commit this .env file because it has my password in it. What can I do? And just having, planting that seed for later, I think it is good. And just recognizing that, like, hey, I shouldn't be committing these secrets, or I shouldn't be pushing up access tokens into a commit Git repo is more than I could ask for. So don't worry if you're not at the level I'm at or anyone else is at. I think just knowing that the thing exists and revisiting it when you get there is more than I think anyone can ask for. Because that's half the battle, is just knowing that something exists, or that you should be doing something else, or just general guidance on what to do, instead of always having to make like decisions for yourself. And you start to think like, I'm not a security professional. I have no idea what to do right now. And so there are tools and things out there to help you with that. But yeah, you'll get there. I could use a Git primer myself. Yeah, I mean, maybe someday. Yeah, maybe someday. I work in Git all day long. I've done it for years and years and years. I don't know how many years, and so it's just like second nature to me. And I do forget though that because it started out in software development, and now it's branched out to infrastructure and everything else. Like anywhere, you can use Git for anything. You can use Git for your blog, like I do. And I sometimes forget that, hey, not everyone uses Git all the time. I know that in the back of my head, but it's tough. Maybe I'll do a quick primer on Git, but I'm sure there are videos out there that have like 2 million views that teach it so elegantly that it's kind of hard to compete with that. Not that I want to compete, but I just want to make sure that if I do it, it's right. And I feel like the people that are probably teaching that on YouTube or somewhere else could do it a lot better than I could. But I'd say take it a little bit at a time. And don't be afraid to use a GUI for a little bit. At first, when I first started doing Git, I used, the GitHub desktop client. I used the built-in Git plugin for Visual Studio at the time. Not VS Code, but Visual Studio. And now I'm all terminal. Because I know the commands in my head, and I don't have to worry about what is the UI consider this action in my head. What does that mean from the CLI? So, anyways, a lot of good tutorials out there. You should totally check them out. It's super fun once you have your own repo and have your own little code repo and you push stuff up to it. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, especially for versioning and stuff like that. That's where I really love Git for versioning and for merging. It's just great. And being able to see the history of any file or any line from all time is awesome. I mean, that's how we gauge stuff sometimes. And it's how I gauge stuff in my own code. If I see an error on a line, I go look at the code and it says, you changed this line, last week. I'm like, the bug's probably right there in that change. If I didn't change that line for 2 years, and I'm like, okay, it's probably not where I need to look. It's super fun. No, I'm totally lost and confused. You got this. You got this. I started to read GitHub and getting started, and then I bought the Markdown book. It's a never-ending learning process. It is. But I would say start small. Hello world, commit some stuff, commit some code, push it up to GitHub, look at it, then make a change, commit that, push it up, look at it, and then look at the history. You'll see, oh, it was this that changed to this. Oh, cool. Well, I kind of get how this works. Pretty soon you'll be doing a git pull -- rebase and replay all your commits in order and squashing your commits on a merge into one, and you'll be an expert. JCX Life, how's it going? Good to see you. Moved my mirror to a server with 500 gigabyte drive. Other than that, I'm moving back to virtualized OpenSense and mostly now keeping to myself. Hope you're okay. Also, I found a fatal flaw in my bot. Wondered why my for each wasn't working, and I was using a return which would exit the whole process. Yep, rather than move to the next entry. The magic word I wanted was continue to do that. Yeah, that's right. That is right, because a return will exit out. Continue will keep on to the next. Let's see. Mier, I'm throwing my own accent on this. Mier Lome. Try to get into image processing and wondering which GPU to source for sharing with an Proxmox server. Maybe a Tesla P100 from eBay, shrug. I don't know the answer to that question. So image processing, if you're doing image processing, I think most likely it's going to use, either the AI or ML cores or the 3D rendering. I'm not sure. I doubt it'd be using NVENC. Maybe it could, should, does. Not sure. It just depends. See which technology that image processing process is actually going to use, because I think that'll help guide you on, okay, where do you need to spend your money versus like, I want this video card. Well, you might want to look into either the AI or ML that comes with it, or NVENC if it does or does not come with it. And I think that'll help guide you. But I mean, if it's image processing and it's, if you're doing like image processing, like converting stuff, like converting, it should, scream, even on a CPU. But when you say image processing, if you're doing AI or ML or analyzing files and doing object detection, you're going to have to look for, then you're going to want to put your money in CUDA cores or something like that, or newer CUDA stack or something like that, which P100 has, I think, CUDA on it. Awesome. Or organic Brex. T-Dog, what's going on? Not a whole lot. It's Saturday. Round, how do you feel about Terraform and CI and CD pipelines? Sure. Yeah, why not? Yes. More of it. I mean, it depends on what you're doing. I mean, if you're going to use Terraform, you're going to be building up infrastructure and making changes or configuring stuff. And if you do that in a CI/CD pipeline, that means you're probably, also source controlling the manifests or the things you're initiating the change on. So that's a good thing. Yeah. Yes. Yes. I mean, you're moving right into to GitOps there, where all of your changes go through Git. And you have a standard process to get them in there. And then those manifests that you're going to use to run with Terraform are source controlled, which is awesome. That is awesome. Yes, more of that. And on top of that, then, people on your team can open pull requests to review this thing before it goes out and burns down production. At least you got 2 people saying yes on taking down production. No, I kid, not really. But yeah, for sure. Like anytime you could bring in CI/CD, yes, all the way. Call me Vice. Do you have an opinion on Pulumi? I don't, because I don't know what it is. Maybe this is something I should know about. I don't know what it is. I don't have an opinion. This is yet another rabbit hole I'm going to look into when I get done. I wish I did. Grong, here we go. From what I've read, it's basically awesome. Okay, I'm in it. JCX also tested Afterfacts reliable mirror RMRR kernel build. They fixed the GitHub automatic builds of it and tested it on my G6 pass-through, working fine, running the older one on G8. Yeah, awesome. I'm thinking of running a plan on branches, pull request, and on merge, but I'm skeptic if that goes wrong. Oh, okay. So you were talking about, I got mixed up in that thread. Yes. So thinking of running a plan on branches and pull request and apply on merge. Let me see this. So this is this is what to do on a pull request. So on a pull request, running a plan. Yeah. So you're going to basically test it. On branches and pull requests, and then apply a merge. I like it. So you could take that one step further if you want. So if you're going to apply a merge, that means any commit to main or master is going to influence this change. And maybe that's what you want, but you could even go one further and say only on tags, and then you get into like a different type of release model where you say, hey, we only release on tags. I mean, you could do that too. It's kind of how I've always done stuff. Not at home. I commit directly to master or main and push it up. But I commit directly to it, but I do only release my stuff on tags, and it's just ingrained in my head. Like I got to tag this stuff because sometimes I want to coordinate stuff and stage stuff. I want this service to be out or be ready, and this service to be ready. I don't want it to go out yet, and then I can tag, and it all gets deployed. But yeah, it sounds good to me. I like this Grogma, but should make a lab environment and try it. So if it breaks, nothing is lost. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Garrus, hey Tim, I have 3 job interviews next week. Jeez, do you have any tips for them? Do you want to take a job advice from me? No. I've been in this situation before. I've been on both ends of the table. I would say bring passion, bring excitement. I'm not saying, don't be yourself, but ask questions, bring passion. Don't be afraid to talk about yourself. This is your time to talk about yourself. Talk about side projects you have going on, the whole 9 yards. Don't overtalk. I don't know. Ask questions, prepare questions, that you want to ask them that you genuinely want to know the answer to. And that might be tough, but, I always respect when people ask questions, and I admire that they put the time into it. But yeah, it's a tough one for interviewing. It can go either way. I don't know if I assume it's a technical interview. I don't know if it's a programming interview. If it's a programming interview, study, be ready, know your different data types, and know how to walk a tree. If it's not, know a lot about the domain that you're in. But also don't be afraid to say you don't know, because I'd rather say I'm not sure than say something wrong with confidence. But that's just me. I for some reason I can get away with I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe because I say it so much that people are just like kind of expect it, or maybe I just kind of take the edge off of saying I don't know, because I'm the first to say I don't understand or I don't know if I don't. And I think some people are afraid to say that. So I don't know. That's a tough one. It is a tough one. But just be ready. I mean, do a mock interview with yourself, or read some of the stuff you're preparing out loud. So it one, doesn't sound rehearsed. Don't do it that much. But two, so you don't fumble over your words and you get your stuff out. I don't know. These are always tough because it just depends on the interview. There are so many ways they can go. I would just say, be yourself. And I know that sounds cliche. But that's who they're going to get at the end of the day. So you want to make sure it's a good fit for you, and they want to make sure it's a good fit for them. And that's kind of what it boils down to too. I've noticed too is, it's got to be a good fit for both ways. And so if one of these three don't work out, or two of the three, or three of the three, don't think it's because you, it could be because of them. It just has to be a good fit on both sides. Otherwise it's bad for someone, and no one wants that. Flex, yeah. All right, there I go. Yeah, Salvarius, I like it. That's a good job tip. Flex, all right, interview tip. I like it. Round. A lot of people pronounce my name different ways, so it's all good. But thank you, Ruhan. I'm gonna go with Ruhan or Ruhan. I'm going with Ruhan. All right, thank you, Ruhan. Thank you so much for helping me spell things phonetically, so I don't have to guess all the time. Ruhan. I'm going with Ruhan until you tell me it's Ruhan, but I'm going with Ruhan. Salvarius, water leak repaired. I saw that. You had water leaking from the ground. I was like, I kind of got, when I saw the fountain in Discord, I was like, okay, I get it. But at first I was like, you got to fix a water leak. And I was looking at bricks. I was like, it's coming upwards. But anyways, water leak repaired, I hope, and testing. Now on to watching your latest vid and getting my own repo set up. All right, man, you got this. You've done tons of Docker stuff. I'm sure you got tons of .envs just ready to be encrypted. They are screaming like encrypt me and commit me and push me into Git. This is getting weird. Awesome, man. Glad you got it fixed. What PAM solution would you recommend for DevOps at a large enterprise? I don't know. That's tough. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head. I assume you mean for identification or authentication. I don't know. I haven't done enough at large enterprise tough scale. Been at a startup for way too long. I've been at some large enterprises, but I honestly don't even remember what to use. I wish I had a better answer. Or wish I had a recommendation. I'd have to do a little research though, without knowing. But sorry, I'm going with extras. Extras one. I wish I had a better solution. If anyone in chat, throw out some suggestions, because I'm kind of lost on PAM solutions. Would you recommend for DevOps for large enterprises? Oh my gosh, what did I even click on? Zoid, thanks for the advice. I'll look into it. All right. I like it. JCX, Proxmox CPU units schedulers, very good. Oh, there you go. At figuring out what priority. If you over provision. Thank you. The higher the units, the higher the priority. Default is 2,000. If you give a VM 1,000, it'll have half the priority. I like it. Thank you so much. Yeah, good call. So if you do over provision, JCX has the right answer. If you do over provision and go crazy like I do and give everything 16 cores, you might want to put some extra safety measures in place. I was talking about nosy neighbors. What happens if you peg all CPUs? Well, JCX has the answer right here. Configure the CPU unit scheduler. So basically you say that some things have priority over the other. Or more priority, I guess I should say. More or less priority. But I like it. Thank you for that tip. But if there's only two VMs fighting for CPU, if not, it lets any machine have the CPU at once. Yeah, for sure. Krabs, hello, Tim. Can TrueNAS work better with a dual CPU? I only see one CPU in the GPU dashboard. Hey, Ruhan, I'm going with Ruhan. Hey, thanks for the bits. Appreciate it. Hopefully it's Ruhan and not Ruhan, because I'm messing it up again. Ruhan Becker, thank you so much for the bits. Appreciate it. Thank you. So, can TrueNAS work better with dual CPU? And the answer is yes. I only see one CPU in the GUI dashboard. Yeah, it can work better. It can take advantage of cores, especially when doing compression, decompression, ZFS, transferring files. Yeah, it can. It definitely can. I would give it more than one core for sure. I would give most things more than one core. I think most things, I don't want to say most. I don't want to speak for most. But a lot of things can take advantage of more cores. Not to say that everything can run in parallel or is perfectly threaded, but operating systems themselves are, for the most part. So even if you're running a process that isn't multi-threaded, that can't do parallelization, the OS itself is. So I would highly recommend using more than one core, at least two. I usually go 4. 4 is my minimum, but I over provision. Going back to over provisioning now, 4 is my minimum, but my normal in virtualizing is 8. And if it's something that I know uses a lot of CPU, or it's a process that is multi-threaded, I will give it 16. But that's rare. My TrueNAS is an R510 server. All right, that's a nice system. So yeah, give it more cores for sure. It's weird it's only seeing one. I would do some diagnostics. Drop into a CLI and list out system info or list out your system information to see if it really is seeing more than one core and if this is just a bug in TrueNAS or not. Cyber Knight. Any thoughts on server room temps? Mine ranges between 71 and 76. I have one exhaust fan on top, dual intake on the bottom of the same wall, and AC Infinity airframe T7 exhaust on the other wall. Yeah, good question, because I struggle with this too. Mine ranges anywhere from 70 to 80. 70 to 80. And I have nothing. I don't have any additional cooling. I have a little slot vent window and a glass block window that I open up and a box fan pointing in there. Not the greatest. But I think that's okay. I think that's okay. Like, I think even Google raised their guidance on server room ambient temps. I think they said, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they said up to 70 something now is okay. So I think you're good. I think you're all within the good range. Was it Google that said 80? You're gonna have to do some fact checking. I can't remember. But Google always releases a white paper on their server rooms, and then they give guidance on power and efficiency, and then they also talk about server temps. And they've raised it. A lot of people have raised it lately, just to say, hey, it should be fine, and even higher. So I think you're well within range. 71 to 76 is totally fine. I mean, because if Google can do that at scale, even higher, then I think it's fine. I mean, obviously they they monitor pretty closely. But at the same time, I don't think you're getting any additional benefits going from, a 76 down to a 67, probably just spending more in energy to keep it cool. But yeah, I mean, look at Google. Google has a great guidance on their data centers. Not that you're doing Google stuff at home, but I mean, if Google can run that way, then, home stuff can for sure. Awesome. Cinelipples. Sprinkle on some Netbox in there too. All right, I need to get into Netbox for sure. Garrus, thank you. Changing the lights. Daedalus. Hi, recently found Harvester HCI, and I tried running it as a VM, both under Proxmox and Zen Orchestra, but the VMs inside of HCI cluster won't load up. Any suggestions on this? I already have the CPU set as host and nested in virtualization and works in other OSs. Yeah, this is interesting because that's exactly what you're doing, and you did exactly what I would have tried too. You're basically doing nested virtualization. Not going to be great. Not going to be great for efficiency and speed, especially, you're basically doing a hypervisor within a hypervisor. Should it work? Yeah, it should work. Is it going to be the fastest? Probably not. But yeah, you did exactly what I would say to do, is to make sure that, your CPU supports nested virtualization. That's another feature of it. And that your CPU supports it, and that it's turned on. And I think you have to, like you mentioned, set it on the host, set the CPU type to host in Proxmox. I think there might be a nested virtualization checkbox. It's been a while since I've seen that, because once I did run Proxmox inside of Proxmox for a demo. And that's all I got. I mean, it should work. So if your CPU supports it, the OS supports it, you've turned it on, and you've set the CPU to host CPU, I got nothing. I got nothing. You did exactly everything I would have tried too. You did. I can't think of anything else. If I think of something, I'll let you know. But that's where my knowledge would end too, for sure. Let's see. Mayrink. Yes, please, if you could post it. I would love to have a look at it and see what I can do to prevent issues like this going forward. Ooh, I lost this thread. So you'll have to let me know. You have to ping me with context in Discord. Ping me with context in Discord. I lost this thread about what we were talking about. All right, guys, I'm going over. I'm going to look for mentions. Lagmans. Hi, Tim. I'm using traffic as my proxy. I would like to host some websites for my friend. I was thinking if I could host them on a subdomain of my site without telling them / revealing my IP address. Yeah, is there any way how they can link their domain using, Cloudflare to mine subdomain? Yeah. So, ask them to give you a token. That's what it boils down to. Ask them to generate an access token for you. That's what tokens are for. They're basically credentials. And that's exactly what you want to do. So you don't need to know any of their Cloudflare information, and they don't need to know. I see. Without revealing the IP address. The plot thickens. I see. I thought I had the perfect answer for this. Yeah, this one's tough. So a subdomain off yours without revealing the IP address. Is there a way to link the domain to my subdomain as if someone could interact? Oh, I think the route I was going down might work. So I don't know. So if they have their own Cloudflare set up with their domain, I don't think they do. Maybe they do because you want to host your friend's website. Okay, so I'm going to strip this all out and take out the friends and take out all of this. So if you're using Cloudflare, Cloudflare can hide your IP address from anyone who accesses it, right? You proxy through their reverse proxy first, which obfuscates your IP address because all of DNS is pointing to Cloudflare. Cloudflare gets that request, and then we'll route it to wherever you say, and only they know where the destination is. So you can do that. You can do that really easy in Cloudflare and turn on proxy and DNS, and you're good to go. You could do the same thing for subdomains too. You create a subdomain, a CNAME probably hanging off your root domain with whatever you want to call it, pointing back at the root domain, and you proxy that too. If the challenge is if it's your Cloudflare account, which I think it is, it should just work. Everything should work. Generate a token, you do it in Cloudflare, it should all work. If it's your friend's Cloudflare account, which I don't think it is, but if it is, then they can generate a token for you, but they would see your IP address. So I need more information. More information because I'm trying to think how this would work. But okay, let's see. I'm going to look for a direct mention. I apologize. I hopefully there were some nuggets in there to where you could have figured out what the heck I was talking about. Gumshoe Noir. Hi, Tim. Hi, Time. People write time all the time. It's totally fine. But it always happens because it's autocorrect. Almost, or did I miss the stream today? Hey, thanks. Nice vid this morning. I'll be trying to apply it for Docker ENV. Perfect. That's a perfect use case for it. Awesome. Gumshoe Noir, you didn't miss the stream because I'm answering this, but it's about to wrap up here soon, for sure. Okay, I'm gonna. That's all good. All right. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining in today. Man, great stream. Thank you so much for being here. It's great to talk tech out loud and not just typing it with fingers on Twitter and Discord. And then, and just not feeling like, like it does when I talk out loud. But thank you so much for being here. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. There was bits, there was follows, there was subs, there was resubs. Thank you all so much for that. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any more questions, feel free to ping me in Discord. We have a Discord full of, I think we're at like 7,500 people now, 7,500-ish people. You should absolutely join. And if you do join, something we usually do right after the stream is jump into voice chat. So after the stream, even I'm going to jump into voice chat. We're going to chill out, the after party in there. It looks like most people are in the Azeroth voice channel. So all you got to do is get signed up, Super easy. You probably already have Discord. If you don't, just click on a link and create an account. Hop in our Discord, and then we're gonna hop into voice. People are already piling in Azeroth. We're gonna hop in there here in a second. Hey, real quick, Babylonia. Thanks for follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. So do that if you want. You don't even have to say anything or turn your camera on, or you don't even have to type or lurk. I mean, you don't even have to type. You could lurk the whole time. So anyways, thank you so much for being here. I will be back here next Saturday, and I hopefully will have something for you next Saturday too, if not before. So, hey, have a great rest of the weekend, and yeah, take care, and be good to each other. Take care, folks.